It takes billions of dollars to run Baltimore City, but not everybody agrees on where that money should go.
You have police, you have fire, public schools, and housing, just to name a few. Tonight, city leaders asked for your input. WMAR2 News' Eddie Kadum sat in on the meeting to learn how members of the community want to see that money spent.
City leaders started out by laying out the framework of the $3.6 billion 2022 budget. Mayor Brandon Scott said increased pensions and health care costs are driving the police department's share of the budget up.
This does not reflect the direction that I want to and that we will move in the future. Early this month, I announced that we'll be picking up on the work I started last year and establishing a advisory group that will develop a 5-year plan on how we can responsibly reduce the police department's burden on the budget.
Right off the bat, people wanted the over $500 million in funding for the police department reduced. Almost every speaker wanted at least $100 million removed from that budget.
We already have the highest per capita cost of police in the country, and we are continuing to increase funding for that department at the detriment of other departments. The role of police in our society is far too expansive. There's no good reason to send a person with a gun and arrest powers to handle a victim of gender-based violence or any other situation where a crime has already occurred.
The city has felt the effects of the pandemic. It actually reduced the budget by around $243 million from last year. But people wanted to make more funding for education and housing available.
City schools has been underfunded for long enough. We must set a precedent now that Baltimore City Public Schools fully needs to be funded.
There have been many studies showing that adequate education, affordable, stable housing, a living wage, and access to health services are better at reducing and preventing violence and harm than police or prisons.
And another common topic was creating an LGBTQ office and funding for organizations like Baltimore Safe Haven.
For financial support for LGBTQ folks experiencing homelessness, access to a building from the city, grant funds for trans-led organizations to provide direct services, and the creation of an LGBTQ office in City Hall.
With over 50 public speakers tonight, city leaders have a lot to consider as they continue to work on the 2022 budget. In Baltimore, Eddie Kadum, WMAR 2 News.